Hopefully you can hear me as I blare along here. I see Elmerin's in here. Hopefully, I guess it might help if I move my mic over here. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, how's that? Can everybody hear me okay? We can only hope. Testing, testing, Bueller. 1, 2, 3, testing. Yeah, I forgot the mic was behind me. Kind of hard to talk over your shoulder. Hey, what's up? What's going on? All right. So how is everybody tonight? I know that I am whooped and worn out. It's been a long 10 days since CAVCon. Which good. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's a good. But hopefully everybody is having a good week so far. I'm getting stuff done, so that's a big plus. Sorta, kinda, maybe. Yeah, well, luckily my office isn't quite as demanding. So we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to get in the door here, and then we will start talking about lots of crazy stuff. Sit here and play with my landing gear poker chips. Kind of made some extra ones. Well, as a, back when I actually could take vacations and I had my other business, I still had to take phone calls, so I don't know about that. I was in the middle of Six Flags over Texas with my kids, 4 kids and my wife, and they're calling me, asking me what to do to fix something. I'm like, really? You guys can't figure that one out? Oh, well. At least they weren't calling me when they had to go to the bathroom or something. Hey, is it all right, boss? Can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. Well, I'm glad that your cats got fed, Elmer. That's what's important in life. Feed those cats. Little loopy tonight. It's all the fumes I've inhaled today. Hopefully I'll have a lot of people in here last night. Our shows have been bigger since, well, they were starting to get bigger before CAVCon. They've got a lot bigger since after CAVCon. I think that James had like over 20 different people in his chat last night. So for a little bit, I was in there for a few minutes before I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Hasta la vista. This is what happens when you have something on a MDF file and you put too many on. You get lots of these. Everything's moving, earthquake. My mic is moved different than it was. I don't know. I must have pushed it around or something. So, anyway. All right, we're getting close here. All right, so first things first. I don't know if you might have noticed as you came in tonight that the stream chat title has changed a little bit. I'm gonna kind of retire to Terrain Tuesday. this is something I've been thinking about for a while, and I decided to go ahead and do it. So it's basically it's going to be Tabletop Tuesday from now on, and basically it's kind of going to be my hodgepodge of a show. Some nights it might be terrain, some nights it may be talking about the RPG, it may be talking about minis, I may paint, I may build, whatever. Just different aspects of the hobby with an emphasis on CAV stuff. But it may not be just CAV either way. It might be I may get a wild hair in my ass and want to talk about some board game or something. So pretty much everything will be on the table other than religion and politics. So, and then whatever else that James slaps my hand and tells me I can't talk about. So, hello, Hobby Habit. How are you? Those actually would make good poker chips. All right, I raise you 6 CAV landing gear pods. Good. Glad to hear it. So anyway, so that's kind of what Tuesday is going to become going forward. Tuesday is going to be Tabletop Tuesday. It's going to be just different things about the hobby, whatever I feel like working on that night. That kind of makes it a little bit easier on me, so that sometimes terrain projects get in the way of everything else, and I can't always be as prepared on Tuesday nights as I want to be. So this way it doesn't put nearly the emphasis on the terrain side of things, and and that way we don't have to cover, we can come up with something new, so we don't have to hear me drone on about how to make a tree for the 50th time. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So this is episode 1. You are here, a new beginning. Dun 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 dun. Oh, sorry. I guess I better not hum music or I'll get in trouble with the DARPA gods or whatever it is. Also, if you get somebody that comes in that is, I have my keyboard here. You get somebody that comes in, and I think now you should be able to type all of the different media with the exclamation mark, and Dana will give you our links. So everything should be on there now. So if we have somebody new in and they're asking questions or you're trying to get them there, you can just type in Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I guess Twitch, not Twitch since they already are here, but Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc., as we get more media savvy around here. All right, so starting off tonight, I wanted to show the dual cast versions of the new minis. We've got those, we've got them all done and in, and so I wanted to show, because we've been showing 3D prints and stuff. These are the dual cast versions of the figures. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Maybe that'll help a little. Give it a chance to focus there. All right. So I think that, I'm super happy with the way they turned out. I mean, we've already seen what the dual cast can do with the new Tusekis and everything like that, but this just takes it again. It shows, the detail that goes in on here. Sometimes it's not going to always focus perfect, but depending on if I get too high. But all the little lines, all the little stuff is in here. Let me chop this off. And again, if somebody's is worried about, is it going to be too bendy? Is it, it's plastic? What's the hell you doing here? Okay. And like I said, it's got a little bit of softness to it just from the sense of when you're using it. So it doesn't snap necessarily. But as you can see here, I guess maybe if I do it this way. I mean, I really have to work on it to get it to bend at all. I mean, it's tough. And then I'm going to cut this other one off. It might help if I open them up. Oh, it's hell getting old. Where's the damn here? Try not to cut off the back of the detail here. All right, so here's a piece of it here. And like I said, you really have to push against it to get any kind of a bend. And as you can see, it goes right back. It goes right back to where it's supposed to be. Of the independent faction metals. Yes, we're going to be switching those over eventually. They're on the bottom of the list, but they will be eventually probably go to dual cast just because we're really phasing out the metal side of things. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, this got this all pushed here. I don't know if you guys saw the announcement, but Iron Wind Metals is kicking up all their prices on their metal BT stuff. So, you know, it's going to get worse. Metal is just all getting more expensive all the time. And as long, especially with the amount of tin that goes in it, and the fact that it's really only coming from one place in the world, it's only going to get worse. So, but like I said, you can see, you know, and it doesn't break. Well, unless you go all the way 90 degrees, I guess it does. Pop there on the joint. So I guess you can break it. It does have a little bit of snap to it. Usually they don't break, but I guess that one had a weak spot. Let me see here on this one. That's what you get for saying something. Of course, the thicker that they get, I mean, it will break on thicker pieces, and that may be what it is, as opposed to like guns and stuff like that that are a little bit thinner. They have a little more give to them. Let's see here. Okay, so here we got another piece. Yeah. Well, and it probably has to do a lot too on where the joints are. That one had a V kind of right there where that piece went into it. So I think it was a weak point that it snapped. These aren't as deep. Let's see what it does. Yeah, there. I guess get it all the way twisted around, it'll finally snap. But that shows you it's got a little bit of, or a lot of give. It's got a lot of give. And we're still playing with the mix a little bit, so we might soften them up just a little bit. It's just this particular, it's a trade-off. You know, you want to keep them as tough as you can, and but like I said, you get up here to a gun. This dude isn't moving. So I mean, if I went after it with a pair of pliers on each end, I could snap it, but it ain't going. You see, like I said, it's got enough give. I think everybody will be extremely happy with it. So I know that I am. So, and at the end of the day, I'm the only one that matters. It's not true. Well, sort of true. No, not really. But you can see you get a little bit. It's easy still to clean up. You will occasionally get a mold line. So I don't think shift is really an issue with this stuff because of the way the mold's locked down, but you can still get a little bit of a mold line. Now this one's pretty clean. I see where the spots went together, but I don't see where the mold went together. Oh, there's a little bit of one right there on the bottom of that. It's got just a little bit of one there. But I'm pretty sure that we trade like one of those tools for scraping or whatever, and it scraped it fine. Come on. One little hanger there. Always got to be the one guy that wants to be the pain in the butt. Of course, and I didn't bring my scraper tool up here, so I'm trying to get it with the scalpel here and not cut my finger off. So anyway, just a little bit of a mold line there. And depending on how picky you are. I know I used to be horrible about not even cutting them off, and people were, why didn't you painted your mini and didn't clean the mold line? I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Just a figure. It's just something to throw on the game board. Alrighty. Let's see here on the guns what we got. See the little bit of one there, but those will all be hidden. Clean it up there where the sprue was. And you can use file on it too. Voila. How's that? Can't beat that with a stick. If I can do it there, I can do it anywhere. Do 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 do. I am so gonna get in trouble. Oh, quit humming. All right. Let's skew up over here for now. Let's see where we're at on our legs here. A little piece there. Love. I think that's good. And by the way, both the hole and the peg on these ended up being hex shaped. The hole was supposed to be hex shaped. The pin was supposed to be round, but as usual, nobody does what I asked him to do, and I didn't catch it, so I apologize. Well, we are starting to ship orders, so we're getting there ever so slowly. The problem right now is the drop ships. It's my own fault. I really didn't expect them to be as popular as they've turned out to be. And then on top of that, with all the excitement after after CAVCon, we've got retail orders that's come in that haven't ordered anything since last year. our distributor's got a big order in, and I mean, it's all good stuff, but it just all hit at one time. And it takes about 2.5 hours for the laser cutter to cut out one drop ship. So we're getting about 3 or 4 drop ships done a day right now. And we made, and I'll show you here the new version of it. After the show, while the guys were here, they kind of went over it and kind of kicked the tires a little bit and had some suggestions for a couple of things. And so I had to make some changes to it. That took a little longer than anticipated, as always. All right. Well, I know that a lot of people are getting excited about it because I get an email every day. Where's my order? They're coming. Speaking of, because Mr. Meredith asked me this today again, I know that people have talked about getting them numbered. So I thought long and hard about that, and I decided that we are not going to number them. It's not something that we had told everybody about. Doing to begin with, so I think it's kind of unfair to come back and do it after the fact for people that ordered later, that might have been important to them. So it's just more trouble than it's going to be worth. So basically, if you get yours over the next 2 weeks, week or two, know that you are one of 49. So that'll have to do you. So I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but I know James is. But I think in the long run, it'll keep everybody happier, and it's just another step that we don't have to get into. All right, now on the Mamba, it's a lot simpler. It's just this and the axles. Let's see here. I want to chop off the ends of my machine guns there, because you can actually see the little rotaries on them. All right. Let's see. Where did I just see that piece? Not used to working this far away from my Mark I eyeballs here. All right, so that's all of it. All right, and then this one, this has just got 3 axles, so you just gotta chop the pieces like so. A little vent there, doohickey vent. Well, like I said, I know right now we're concentrating on the first 50. So number 1 is sitting here in front of me, so you're not going to get that one. But 2 through 49 is coming your way. Get out of there. I guess technically it'd be 2 through 50. Sorry. No, that's 49 of them. 2 through 50. I'll get it right. There's an axle. Let's see there. Little titties on that tire. Yeah. I mean, you never know. What came about it, or just the fact when we announced them that people still would have, but it was worth it from the standpoint of just having fun. I think everybody had a good time that attended, one virtually or physically. All right, so that gets those there. Okay, so this torso here, need to hook some legs up. I actually had a guy on one of the YouTube videos today ask about, I guess you worked on a utility vehicle or something like that, and he's like, when is the utility vehicle being released? And I'm like, well, it's already, I think he made it out of parts that are already available, so there's not really a utility vehicle. All right, hopefully there's still super glue in here. Maybe. Oh yeah, there's glue in there. It's just the anticipation. Anticipation is making me wait. I'm gonna do that leg. All right, come on here. Put some glue on here. Oh, I see it coming down the tube. There it is. Yay. You know, it's been a long day when glue coming out of the bottle is the high point of your day. You're like, oh my God, we got glue coming out. Come on, get in there. My ex-peg. There it goes. That was supposed to be round. I don't know, you're going to have to get on the YouTube on your video and tell them what your parts list is. Because I certainly don't remember. Let's see. Leg. And I'm not going to get wild with my posing here, so. Get in there. Yelling me with smalls. All right, there it goes. It does go in there. You just kind of have to kind of hold your tongue just right. All right, then we'll put the base on it because that kind of pulls the legs. I know a lot of people don't put them on there, but that's one of the purposes of them, is they are good about pulling the legs back into where they're supposed to be, just in case. Sometimes they get just a little bit of a shape to them from the way they go together. And then I pop it out. Oh. Oh. It's like putting marauder legs together. No, not really. It's not that bad. It's me getting in a hurry. All right, little bastard, get in there. All right, gotta go off camera here for a minute. Gotta get closer where I can see what I'm doing. All right, all together. Oh, my poor hands are cramping, they're tired, we're all working today. All right, we'll let that sit there and cure for a minute. I think I'm relatively happy where they're at. It's got kind of a walking pose to it anyway. All right, and then on the axles, there's no certain way they have to go, so they're all the same part. They just fit on there. Do a little dry fit, make sure that goes in there. It does. Voila. Glue in there. All I need to do. There is glue in this bottle, but there isn't a whole lot left, I don't think. It's on its last leg, I believe. But that just slides right into there. There's a little square and a little spot where it goes. And voila. Make sure they're straight. Go ahead and put the front one on and let those two dry, and I'll come back and do the last one. I'll set that there for now. That'll get it in there. All right. Oh, no. Looks like I had one come out naturally. It's just not my day. There it goes. It's back in there now. Don't breathe. Okay. Glue the top gun on here. Make sure it goes on. They all fit at one point. Who knows if they still do. So if the worst case, you have to shave them down a little bit, the peg. Whoop, I missed a little spot on the end of the gun there. Zoom out just a little bit so I'm not so stuck on my little space there. All right, let's see, make sure that goes in there. Maybe, possibly. Oh, it might help if I put it the right direction. Right there. All right, I think it's going on there. Oh. put enough glue on there, we'll make that dude. We'll make her stick, one way or the other. There it goes. There, it's all there. Sort of, kind of. Get time to set up. All right, I'm gonna put those aside for a minute while they're drying, so I can talk about other things. I just wanted to kind of show you the models, so that they actually do exist. So we got all our paint in finally. We're kind of having to wait on our paint. It didn't get here as expected, so, but we got it all in now. Okay, get this all out of the way. All right, let's zoom back out a little bit here. All right, so here is a production copy of the Badger dropship. There's lots of little things that you probably wouldn't notice unless you have the two of them right next to each other, that you would know that would be the difference. But one of the things is I did key these so that they are solid. If you're enterprising enough, there is a way to fix them so they'll go in and out. But that's up to you if you want to do it. I did cut out all the windows. So if you want to put glass or something behind them, or plastic or colored something, acrylic, you want to make sure you put those on before you glue it together, or it isn't going to fit. One of the things that was asked for was turret rings. So I've added those on here. They come one of two ways. You can either glue them on there or set them on there later, or you can just leave them off. There's a hatch door that's underneath there, so it looks like they would open up and come up out of there. If not, they can go back in there. You can see I've got the three different turrets that come with the terrain stuff. And those all sit down in there, and you can spin them, or if you want to pin them or whatever, you can. So you're good there. Yeah, because actually on the bottom of it too, there's little holes in the corners that I went ahead and cut out. If you want to put running lights, LED lights, again, that's something you better make sure you put in before you get it all buttoned up. But you can come in and do that if you want to. I went ahead and pre-drilled the holes. I think they're 3mm LEDs, I think is what I sized them for. I've got some here around the shop that I used for other things, so that was what I went with. This detail back here is a little different than what was on the original one. It's not sticking out as much, things like that. There are little things that needed to line up that wasn't 100% lined up. Flip it up here. But just some things that needed straightened up a little bit. I did add pads to the bottom of the landing gear. That helps kind of keep them together a little better and makes them look a little better too. So there you have, like I said, all that's cut through. Everything fits a little tighter. But size-wise, was the original prototype one. So you can see there, size-wise, they didn't change. So, first time ever, two on the picture at the same time. Of course, this one's had some pieces busted off of it as I've checked things on it, but But you can see here where the detail's a little different here on the back. These stuck out further and didn't have as much stuff on them. So these are down a little bit. Said the windows are cut out. Now, if you want to go in and put that stuff in there. Some of it was simplified a little bit just so that it makes more sense. But very happy with it, very happy. And like I said, we're cutting them as fast as we can cut them. So hang in there. It's a long process. And unfortunately, because it's wood and fire, and you can't just run off and leave it and let it go. And you have to change out the material about every 30 minutes so that it can go to the next one. So you kind of got to time it in with other things going around the shop so that somebody's just not sitting there the whole time watching that thing go. Oh, but yeah, no, I'm happy with it. So that leads into the next project, which during the convention, I talked about and I think I talked about it a little last week too. Thank you. I'm glad. Like I said, I can't wait for everybody to get one. There is not an instruction thing put together for this yet. It's just fallen to the wayside with everything going on. I will get to it. I'm going to pull one aside after we get caught up a little bit and do a video. And as I put that together, I'll take pictures and put together the guide for it. And really, it's pretty self-explanatory how it goes together. I will say this: if this is your very first MDF kit that you have ever did, I'm sorry. This is not the one you want to get your cherry popped on, but it'll get there. You'll get her done. It's more of an order thing, especially as you're putting on the corner modules, because there's pegs that have to go in and pegs that have to go up, and if you don't put them together in the right order and try to put them in, you can't get pegs to go where they're supposed to go. So it's not the end of the world. There's enough pegs on these things, because I did it when I put the very first one together. That you can cut a peg off and just glue around it. It'll still glue. I'm just curious how you paint something like that. Well, let me tell you, because I got it. The only reason I haven't started painting on that other one yet is because I need to take some pictures of it before it's painted. And then I'm going to start painting on it. Hopefully I'm going to get to it this weekend a little bit. But my plan is, once it's all together, is I want to I'm going to give it a coat of gray primer. I'm going to coat the whole thing gray. I don't want to pile it on, so I'll probably put on a couple of lighter layers. If you want to airbrush it on, you can. I'm just going to rattle can it and get kind of a medium gray primer on it. After that dries, and that'll seal it all up and everything and kind of bring it together, then I'm going to go back with the airbrush, and then I'm going to weather it. So I'll use some different grays, some blacks, some browns, whatnot, and go in there. I've got kind of a vision in my head for it, with some red striping and stuff. I'm going to make mine a rock drop ship right off the bat. So there'll be some red on it and some things like that. So that's how I'm going to do mine. There's 1,000 YouTube videos out there about how to paint MDF. Mel, the terrain tutor, he does a couple of videos. Luke from Luke's Scenics, he's got some MDF. He just did some MDFs videos. So, but I really think that airbrush, like I said, you want that base coat on there before you start putting any washes or anything like that on it, because you got to seal it up. You want to get it good and sealed up. Unless you're using like a primer with filler, or you put on just super heavy coats, you're not going to hurt the line work. That line work is cut about halfway deep in that wood. So or the material. It's not really wood. It's kind of it's a heavy cardboard, and that's one of the reasons you want to be, because it's layered. It's pressed in layers, and if you catch a corner before it's sealed up, or you get it too wet or something like that, it'll start peeling apart. So you want to make sure you get it all good and sealed up before you start putting washes and stuff on there. But you know, you can come in and do some weathering with some washes to, you know, where stuff's run down, like you see on the sides of ships and things like that. There's lots of little panels on here. I don't know as far as I don't know if you've ever seen kind of how they do. There's a technique they call Aztecing that they do on Star Trek ships that is big in the model community, and it's basically they go in and all the little panels they do them in different colors so that it almost looks like a jigsaw puzzle when it's done. But where all these panels are cut in here, I mean, if you wanted to tape those off, or you know, or go in there with a brush and then paint those a lighter color, you know, an access panel, or a little darker or something like that, I think those would look really cool because they're all over the ship. So that would give it kind of that Aztec pattern if you wanted to. So that's something to do. I don't know if I'll get that courageous off the bat, but we'll see. I know that I promised James Wapple one to do, so it'll be interesting to see how he paints it. I have to put it together for him though, because he don't want to put it together, which I don't blame him. If I could get somebody to put these together for me, I would too. I think it took me about how long did it take me to do this? The last one that I did, probably every bit of a good 8 hours. So you could make a mask set from the base. Yeah, you could, but I don't know that masking is so hard to do, especially if it bleeds under the edge or whatever. I think with these panels being with the lines cut into them the way that they are, I would think it would be almost easier to go in and with a brush lightly, because they're easy to stay within the lines. That kind of guides your brush a little bit. I know that when we painted stuff on the CAVBoss field, that was really the first time James had done a lot of stuff with MDF, so he was amazed or surprised how easy it was to stay within the lines and stuff the way that they're cut. So anyway, so the scenario that I talked about, it's called A Tale of Two Cities, and so I need some new stuff to build for this. Now this will probably be like a green grass board, as opposed to another desert board or whatever. Now, ideally, it's going to need to have a river split the board. And as we build those, we'll go into some techniques there. I probably will build them in 1 foot increments, and this will be at least a 4x6 board, if not a 4x8. Might be 4x8 simply because of the two cities that go on it to give it a little more room. So that'll be a technique that will show how I build modular rivers. So we'll have those in there. We'll need a bridge that spans the river. So the bridge will go there. And that's the only way to get across the river. The water is going to be too deep, etc., for anything like that else to go through there. Then on each end, there'll be a city area. So I'll have to build a couple of pavement areas. We'll work on some buildings so that we got that. And then there'll be a central gathering spot towards the back of each city. be kind of down the roads and protected by bigger buildings and stuff like that. Might build a road, because technically that you would need a road from the city to the bridge. So we might do some road panels, modular roads. We'll see. Sometimes it's hard when you get too much modular stuff on there to keep the look you want with the board, but we'll see how that goes. But again, we'll make some modular road sections and to go with the city and the buildings and stuff like that. Now, the big piece is going to be the crashed Badger drop ship. So basically what has happened is this ship has come screaming in after it's been basically shot down, and it has crashed on whichever side you want it to. It doesn't really matter. It's just more of a terrain piece. But I'm going to have parts of it over on the other side too. So maybe a corner and the landing gear or something. Something that's broke off. Missile pod has crashed. So the ship is going to be out like that. So I'm going to have to build a piece for it where it's zipped down into the ground, like so. Might put a little smoke and fire coming off of it. But as the ship broke apart as it came in, the storage crates that it was carrying have scattered. So they have landed all over the battlefield. Amazingly, the same number on both sides of the river. Funny how that happens. All right, so the object is to be the one that gets the most of these storage containers back to your central base. Now, I'll come up with it, since obviously our calves don't have hands. We'll have to come up with a way that you're going to be able to do those, but it'll come up with something. They may have to escort a truck or something out there that's super armored or something to keep people from shooting them all up or something. Or they get multiple trucks, something, I don't know. We'll work that part out. So it's real easy to come out and grab these on your side other than being shot at or whatnot. But in order to win, you're going to have to get across the bridge and at least steal one of theirs. So that's really where the battle comes down to. It becomes a battle to get across the bridge, to get a hold of one of the other crates and get it back from their side over to this side. And it's a great scenario. It's a lot of fun to play. It really gets kind of into a crazy free-for-all at times. I've seen all kinds of different ways to fight it and play it. I've seen guys buy infantry to grab and hold the bridge, to keep guys, because they get into kind of a defense mode. So, that part of it's really good. So that's kind of the board that we're going to be building for that scenario. And then your hello, something. I mean, you can come up with some kind of a rule or something to make it. So what's going to happen, this was the original, the proof of concept one that survived. This is going to become the crashed one. Now, what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do is go take it to the bandsaw and cut it up. I'll cut across here. That way I kind of an open area like that. I'm going to cut it at kind of an angle. If I can get the right here. So that'll be the hardest cut, because it'll be kind of a diagonal from a high down to a low, because I want that to be sticking into the ground, like so. So you'll be able to see in the back area where it's broken open and stuff. And then, like I said, cut one of these pods off, and have it on the other side of the river where it broke up with that, one of the ammo things. So So that'll be interesting to cut one of these up. I've never, when I originally did the scenario way back in the days, I built the stuff scale to the board rather than scale to the miniatures. So the drop ship was much smaller, so it was easier to build. I think I made it out of cardboard and Sculpey or something. I have no idea. It's on the original miniature, the metal miniature. I don't know if it's supposed to be a spotlight, or I haven't looked and gone into the whole mythology yet as to what that is. Yeah, it's a sensor array. I mean, it can be whatever it wants to be, but it's a piece that's left over from the original metal model. So I put it on there. I thought it looked cool, so that's what that is. Well, and actually, that's funny you say that, because I've thought that too. I'm like, oh, what the hell are they doing with that on a spaceship? So, all right. So anyway, so that's kind of where I'm going with the projects at the moment. Got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to see if I can finish putting our guy together here. Seems like he's somewhat more glued together now. He's kind of pigeon-toed. I'm gonna have to, whoops, and then I broke it. I think maybe, if I remember right, maybe that PNX is kind of doesn't go all the way in. It becomes kind of a joint, like so. That's better. That way he's not so pigeon-toed. So like I said, I think just the tip of it goes in, and then once you get it on there, if you turn it out just a little bit, it'll glue in there and look like the pin, the joint across there for the leg, where the leg attaches. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. No, this is the first one I put together out of the dual cast, so that's right. I kind of held off out from the other day when we were packaging them. I grabbed one, and so I could put one together on the show to show you how they ended up looking. Make sure that goes in there. The problem from file to final, everything always doesn't get perfectly fitted, and so sometimes things expand. Oh, I keep knocking everything off of it. I'm obviously not giving it enough time to dry. Or not getting enough glue on it. Or all of the above. All right, stick some more glue on there. Too much pressure has performance issues. All right, let's see here. So maybe that's not sitting in there just exactly 100% right. I thought it went in earlier. Oh, come on. Oh, there it went. Oh, and then the leg fell off. Oh, gotta love it. Or not. Yeah, it's not 100% going on there. You may have to cut that open a little bit. Just one of those days. It just keeps getting better. All right, there it goes. Now it's down in there. All right, put more glue on the leg here, since I must have broke the bead on it. Probably if this was one I was getting ready for painting, I probably would cut it up a little different anyway, because that's just the way I roll. Get them in a little different poses. All right, so I'm gonna turn that leg out just a little bit and just set the end of it into the hole, like so. We'll put our third axe along here. At least the Mamba went together nicely. You get 2 of those in the pack. So I think scale-wise, it turned out pretty good against the figures. And this goes in here. These are actually tight enough, they just go in. I know I'm going to break him again if I'm going to knock his leg off or top gun if I don't quit dicking with it. You can do it. All right, there it went. I like to tilt mine up just a little bit, make them look action posed. Yeah, ever so slowly. He may get it together here before he gets off. These guns and missile pods, being the way that they're set up, will make for some cool pieces to use on other things. Now there's kind of a notch and there's a square where you can see where the gun or the pod goes above the arm. Nobody breathe. Normally when I glue these, I like to use a super glue on one side and a little bit of Gorilla Glue on the other side. The Gorilla Glue acts as an accelerant and will cause the super glue to almost instantly adhere. But I ran off and left it downstairs. That's probably, I'm used to with that, so I guess that's why I'm in such a hurry. I think I've got it on there right. Oh, then I turned the leg again. I think the humidity or something too is dicking with my glue. Don't move. I hate miniatures. I hate the zombie. No more. I'm going to take up knitting or something. Super glued myself to the missile here, or the rockets. It seemed like such a good design when it was being built. Like it'll all go together just like it's supposed to. It'll all be good. All right. Don't breathe. It's together. Yeah, that's what I use. I use the Gorilla Super Glue XL for my super glue, and then I use the Gorilla, just the clear, non-expanding Gorilla Glue, And like I said, the Gorilla Glue acts as an accelerant. So if you put a little dot on one side and one dot on the other side, it all just kind of, they touch one another and voila. Oh gosh, what a mess. Find a cheaper hobby. Well, yeah. I mean, it's actually, well, it can be unless you're into Games Workshop and some other things, but we're trying to keep it down. That was one of the comments I made to my wife this morning after I heard the Iron Wind announcement. I said, you know, it sucks for the Battletech guys getting the stuff like that, and I don't know what the final pricing ended up being with the plastic that they ended up doing. I know that some of the original prices I looked at was they certainly didn't give anybody a good deal on the Kickstarter with the prices. I think that's pretty close to what retail ended up being. So you got the plastic there, but as far as the metal, I mean, for CAV, that's just great. I mean, you know, they keep their metal up at $16, $18 a figure. You know, we're keeping ours in the $7 range, so you know, that right there works out really good. I know they're doing them as box kits or whatever too, so I don't know how they break down, but yeah, no, Iron Wind Metal is they're raising their prices on the Battletech stuff. I think it's going to go into effect in a week or so. So if there's some Battletech metal that you've been wanting to buy, now's the time to buy it before prices go up. I don't know how much they're going to go up, but generally, most price increases that I've seen are generally 10 to 20%. So. Yeah, well, it's just the metal. I mean, metal is high dollar anymore. That's the reason we're moving away from it. I was hoping that we could, you know, that was always kind of the backup plan, was that we could keep doing some metal ones, just to kind of, you know, do special editions and stuff like that. But oh man, the last time I bought metal, it was atrocious. I know I shouldn't keep messing with it, but I was trying to straighten it up a little bit. So anyway, so there is the Kodiak in all his glory. Sorry, I don't have another one to show him next to, but I mean, you put him against the other assaults, he's up in there. He's kind of a little dumpy, more so than I wanted him to be. I think that the torso, I think he ended up being a little wider than I wanted, but I think he's all right. When you put him next to the other the supers, he looks good. All right, folks. I think that 9%, yeah. Like I said, generally I've seen their 10, 20% is generally. You know, well, it's not so much it's just molds. I mean, trying to do anything with any kind of casting with, whether it's high plastic injection or die cast or something like that, the molds are atrocious cost-wise. The unit cost is pennies sometimes, but just the mold, getting to the point where you can make them, so. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a night. It's time for me to get out of here and go home. It is Taco Tuesday, so hopefully you will be able, or have already partaken in your weekly taco allotment. James and I will be back tomorrow night with CAVHQ Live. We're going to try to, as we transition into new stuff and new releases, Wednesday night's going to become kind of the preview of things. So as we get into that, that's the other side of this coin. We're right in the middle of getting all of our dual cast stuff set up and put together, and now that we got everything in, and through CavCon in the middle of it, which screwed up the shop, which we had to reposition for last week, and now all the orders and trying to get caught up with everything there has put that to the side, but we'll get there. I expect that we should have I still am very hopeful that we should have our first release mid-May. So anyway. Yeah, well, that's the good thing about being able to watch them. Twitch doesn't store them very long. That's the reason I move them over to our YouTube channel. So everything's always there, and depending on how your day goes, or that's how I catch up on a lot of shows is during the afternoon or whatever. I turn the Xbox and the TV on down there in the shop that we have and play it in the background, get caught up on stuff. So I did make sure, if you have not emailed me if you won prizes, I know that there were some in there today. I haven't been a chance to respond to you yet, but I'll get those out to you tomorrow. So if you know you want a prize, make sure you email it at that address right there, serve at talon-games.com, and we will get you squared away with your prizes and go from there. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. Have great games. Play lots of Cav. So anyway, good night, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.